I could probably describe it like being in prison to some degree. She wouldn't allow me to have any friends, and I'm a people person. I got to have my friends. She was very jealous and possessive of my time. She had become so hateful. I don't even remember picking up the gun that day. It was like someone else was doing it.
So why did you leave the body there? It would seem to me that if you didn't want to get caught, you'd find some way to dispose of it.
Oh, no, I could never do that. That was never my intention. Everyone deserves a proper burial. And I was just waiting for my chance to give her one.
Thank you, Bernie. I'll pass the witness.
So help me out here, Bernie. On this trip with Mrs. Nugent to New York City, did you fly first class?
Yes, I believe we did.
Tell us the difference between like the first class seats and the regular old seats in the back of the plane. I never been up there.
I'd say the seats are a little larger, maybe. More comfortable.
And don't they have people waiting on you and stuff, too? You know, I mean, people you bringing you fancy food and serving you whatever you want to drink and stuff like that?
Yes, the service is probably a little better.
So you like the first class treatment, first class lifestyle, the best that money can buy.
I was accompanying Mrs. Nugent, who usually preferred these things when she traveled.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Now, on that New York City trip, it says here that you and Mrs. Nugent stayed at the Ritz-Carlton. That's a fancy hotel near Central Park, isn't it?
Yes, I believe that is where we stayed.
Also says here that while you were in New York City, you saw an opera and a Broadway play. I think it's called Les Miserables.
Les Miserables.
That's impressive.
What?
So culture is important to you.
In what way?
Well, you seem to know all these fancy words and such.
Well, that one's not very difficult.
Not for you. You know all about the high-class life, don't you, Bernie?
Like what?
Like, I don't know, say, for instance, what kind of wine are you supposed to have with fish?
No, I don't. Well, white, usually.
Mm-hmm. That takes a lot of money to have so much culture, don't it? To enjoy the finer things in life that you love so much, the ritzy hotels, the first class flying off to the big cities. I mean, it takes a lot of money to live that way, don't it?
No, left to my own devices, I would not have been traveling in such an
But if left to someone else's devices, you were. And after you killed Mrs. Nugent, you kept on spending her money, didn't you? A lot of it. And if you wouldn't have been caught, you'd still be spending her money today. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? Ladies and gentlemen, after listening to all the evidence, I'm sure that you will agree that the defendant is a liar, a coward, and a backshooter. I mean, come on. That's got to be about the lowest thing a man could ever do, ain't it? Shoot a little old lady in the back 4 times. There's no doubt in my mind that Bernie Tiede is a calculating, evil actor. He fooled the whole town for 9 months. Now, if he can do that, there ain't no telling what he'll do if you let him back on the streets. That poor woman stayed frozen stiff for 9 whole months in a freezer. It took 2 days to thaw her out just so they could perform a proper autopsy. No. No. I'm sorry.
Your Honor, counsel, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, all Danny Buck Davidson wants to do in this trial is get you to believe that Bernie is some kind of monster, that he is something other than a fellow human being. Look at him, ladies and gentlemen. There is not one hint of premeditation in this case. If there was, he'd have done it a lot differently. He might have gotten away with it. Did he try to poison her slowly? No. Did he burn down the house? Say it was an accidental fire? No. He still knew he'd done wrong. He knew he was going to get found out. He just did not have the courage to tell on himself. But like a good funeral director, he preserved the body so that she could have a proper burial. And in the meantime, he did a lot of good for a lot of people till he finally got caught. He just doesn't sound like any kind of monster I've ever heard of. Thank you.